Well, Pam Saulsby, thanks for coming in to visit with us. We're going to do a program on North Carolina Bookwatch, and I'm really excited about that. But in the meantime, you've written this wonderful book, Ashley's High Five for Daddy. Can you tell us about it real quick?
I'm so happy to be here, DG. The story is about a little girl who's a daddy's girl. Her father has been deployed in Iraq. He comes home and he's a little bit different than she remembers him when he left. And so she tries to process that, has a little difficulty, and her mom puts it in terms that she can understand. She takes a complicated disorder like PTSD and explains it in terms that an 8-year-old little girl can relate to and understand and be all right with.
Wow, wow. And so this is a serious, this post-military experience.
It is.
Is a disorder, and it's affected a lot of people, particularly here in North Carolina. We have so many women and men and women who are coming back
Absolutely.
from Iraq and Afghanistan, tormented.
That's right. And when something is wrong with their mom or dad, then something is wrong with them as well. And kids know when things are different in their households. And they call them episodes when someone with post-traumatic stress disorder begins to act out symptoms. And research has found that a lot of times the children have some of the same issues and symptoms that their wounded mother and father, who has invisible wounds, by the way, they mimic some of the same symptoms. They have trust issues, depression, and anxiety. And the worst thing to me is for a parent not to acknowledge it and not do anything. And so I believe there is an age-appropriate way to talk to a child, even a young child, 8 years old, about war in terms that they can understand and grasp. And most times it's just by relating it to something that happens in their everyday world. Their worlds are so small. And when something happens, to disrupt it, it can turn into a big thing. And they just need reassurance. That high five is a connection that Ashley and her dad have, no matter when things are bad or good, right or wrong. That high five solidifies their love, and it's a language between them, unspoken, that says everything is going to be all right.
Does the returning serviceman or servicewoman generally understand that they have that kind of problem, and understand that they may be challenging children and other family members? Is it something that you can talk to them about?
Well, sometimes a family member might isolate himself or isolate herself, and it may be the responsibility of someone other than the parent who is impacted to have a conversation with the child. It could be a counselor at the school, a grandmother, a grandfather, and there's no need to go into any big, long drawn out explanation about what is wrong. A lot of times they just need love and reassurance. And you can tell them that and show them that in any of a number of ways. I was fortunate to have a child psychiatrist from Fort Bragg, Womack Army Medical Center, to talk to me as I was writing the book. He was more or less a consultant with me to make sure that the language was right and that there was nothing scary or frightening about what happens to Ashley. And when she is with her dad and she has some questions about him behaving a little bit differently than she remembered. So he made sure that the language was right and that love and caring was on every single page.
Your illustrations are incredible. Tell us, how did you find your illustrator, and how did you all work together?
Well, she does not live in the state. She's out of state, and you can do so much now online without actually being face to face with people you work with. So we kind of telecommuted.
Oh, wow.
I told her about the project. She and other illustrators bid it on the project. But when I saw, I just said, give me an example of how you think Ashley would be, and I told her about the personality. I said she's fun, she's feisty, she loves her dad, and she started just real crude, just very raw drawings of what she thought Ashley would look like, and I was sold, right away.
I can see why.
And so I found her online to answer your question, DG.
Well, the illustrations, and when we talk on North Carolina Bookwatch, we'll get to see a lot more of them. But in the meantime, thank you for bringing those illustrations. Thanks for the great story, and thanks for everything that you've done, Pam.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me, DG.